So staying within, governance, which is really your, area of expertise, I want to move a little bit to some of the work that you are currently doing through Excellence Enablers, and which is very much part of the overarching governance framework. And that is talk about board effectiveness. Given your experience of, so many years of looking at board effectiveness as a member of a board, as someone who actually assesses other boards and their practices, what are some of the areas you believe require more attention when it comes to better board effectiveness?
No, the reason we started out with Excellence Enablers, which is a joint venture of mine and a younger colleague of mine whom you know, Yani, we set it up together a few years ago. And the intention was firstly to disabuse so-called good boards of the notion that they are good boards, that they're great boards, to show them where they're falling short. And then those that did not see any value at all in having worthwhile boards, who treated boards as, and I've used this expression somewhere, an avoidable nuisance imposed by law. So those persons had to be told what value the board can bring to the table. So role clarity, the separation of the roles of the board and management, the nature of the relationship, which I've always believed should be one of constructive tension, not peaceful coexistence. On the Indo-Chinese border several decades ago, we had peaceful coexistence. It doesn't work in boardrooms. You've got to constructively challenge management. So we looked at how can directors ask the right questions in boardrooms. Not because of this misguided effort that's going on now to teach them the sections of law and regulation and the provisions. That doesn't make a director.
And writing an exam.
And writing an exam, passing it, getting onto a data bank with several people who are dying to get into boardrooms. The minute somebody is dying to get into a boardroom, I would be suspicious. I would rather have people who are reluctant and have to be coaxed into getting into boardrooms, because they are the ones that I value and are not dying to get in there. But there are several people that believe that life is complete only if you have been a board director. So those people clearly will take the exam, get into data. Our approach has been, look at what a director needs to know in terms of domain, because he's not a domain expert. In terms of teamwork, how do you function as a team within the board? How do you summon the courage to ask the tough questions? And not get fobbed off by people who've been there longer saying, no, we've dealt with this. So you need to stay in there, ask the tough questions. How do you see your role as not one of the opposition party in the boardroom if you're an independent director? I will oppose everything that management brings. That way lies safety, and no investigating agency can ask me later, why did you agree to this? I wouldn't have agreed to anything. That's my perfect defense case. But before anything happens, the company will come to grief, because we can't take decisions and work can't go on. So how do you look at what needs to be done to encourage the management, help the management, on occasion handhold the management? COVID times, for example. Several managements were really putting out the fire. They were not doing any long-term thinking. You needed somebody to help with that, because you couldn't park that. There were opportunities that COVID was throwing up. You couldn't park that, and yet you had managements working 24/7 on putting out the fire.
Right.
So many people falling ill, so many computers to be rushed. What do I do about cyber security? All those issues. So I think that is an area that we are focused on. One issue that we address, and that is what I started out with, is boards in denial. Oh, we are a great board. And when you talk in terms of board evaluation, why do you need to evaluate this? We are doing a phenomenal job as it is. It is from that denial that every problem starts. If somebody said, okay, we are doing a great job, maybe we can do a greater job. And that is where Excellence Enablers comes in. We try and persuade people, maybe you need to do something more. something different, something better, and bring best practices from other companies here. Because several best practices are sector neutral, they're not really specific. And that's something that we can bring in. Of course, we put in place all manner of safeguards, not limited to an NDA. We have several other safeguards so that we don't have the burden of unnecessary knowledge. We only take what we need to know. And I think it's been a very satisfying exercise. Even the training, the evaluation, all of these have been very satisfying interventions.